so to say, and then last couple home games of the season?
Just kind of rolling off, like Andy said, probably a well-deserved and well-needed weekend to train here in Ames. Kind of looking forward to this weekend. I won't probably speak much past that, but just Friday night, senior night, talk about a duel that we're probably heavily favored in. I don't really know their team throughout the middle much, but those bookends, 25 and heavyweight, those will be two really, really scrappy opponents. Those will be tough matchups for our guys. So that duel, and then Pitt on Sunday. Pitt as a dual team, that's going to be a tough duel. They're up top. They're really scrappy. They're really tough. I think all their guys from about 74 on up are ranked in, I think top 15, maybe even higher than that. So we're going to have our hands full up top, and our guys are going to have to be ready to go. But if we can sneak a win in 25 or 65, I think we'll be in pretty good shape as long as everybody kind of does their job.
What is Cody Chittum showing you this season after having a season that he was very upfront about not being pleased with?
Cody's the guy that comes in here and he does the work. He puts in the time and the effort, and he works a lot with Coach Metcalf. So I know they put their heads and collaborate a lot together. But just in terms of a guy that puts in the amount of time that he does, I would have a hard time believing Cody Chittum eventually not going to get what he wants, if that makes sense. So. And as a coach, you can't ask for much more than that. Come in, put in the work, do the right things to get yourself where you need to be, and when the dust settles, you can feel pretty good whether you get to where you wanted to be or not. So.
Daniel Herrera has probably two of the tougher matches this weekend.
Yeah.
What is he going to do?
When you're young like that, you just got to come out and you got to scrap and compete to the best of your ability. He's probably outmatched in both those situations, like you said, but as long as when you show up and you put your toe on that line, you get out there and you're not scared and you go out and compete hard. From a coaching aspect, you can't ask for a whole lot more. Strategically, there's things that we could coach them up on, little things here and there, but ultimately it's about just going out and competing hard when you're young like that.
Going back to Chittum, how would you describe him to someone?
It's like Ace Ventura on steroids meets Beetlejuice with that hair. I don't know. But no, he's got a big personality, and he's very vocal in here. So he brings a lot of good energy in here. If you go out there, he's probably playing what we call bomb squad out there right now, and I bet he's hooting and hollering and yelling and screaming and kicking, maybe even doing a little cussing. Who knows? You never know with that guy. So, but I love his energy. I love having him around here, and
Would you call him a leader in the room?
I would say so. Probably more by example right now, just in terms of like what I talked about earlier, just coming in and putting in the work, and coming in on the off hours and the weekends. Catch him in here at all kinds of random times. So I would say more as a leader by example right now, and then who knows what'll happen, kind of as you mature and you kind of get more of a grasp on things, you kind of become more of a vocal leader. So I'm hoping he'll kind of take over that role a little bit more.
MJ and Riggins are obviously individuals, but they've both had some pretty solid wins and some tough losses. What did each one of them need to do to start getting things to the level that we know they can be?
They're kind of feel for both those guys a little bit, and they're kind of flip-flop them about halfway through the year here, but I think it's for the better. I think Riggins will have a little more horsepower down at 65, and MJ can be a little bit freer with his weight and kind of be able to put on a little more size, hopefully, and kind of get a little bit of his gas tank back and let his wild style go. But in terms of just kind of getting things turned around for him here, they're kind of jumping in when we flip-flopped him. You're kind of jumping in at a really tough time of the year. So kind of a tough situation, but as a coach, I think it's probably for the better. We just got to get them in a position where hopefully we can get them on a little bit of a roll, get their mojo back, and have a good end of the year here.
What's impressive about a guy like Nate Schoen, who's gone through so much, well, maybe thought his career was over for a variety of reasons, and he just kept showing up, and now he's progressed to the point where he has.
This is a crazy sport. I mean, crazy things happen. I mean, look what we've kind of been through as a team this year. I mean, you never know. So, that's where I give Sean a lot of props, a lot of credit is you just stay in there, because you never know when you're going to get your opportunity, or you never know when you're going to get to actually go showcase yourself. So, like, when you train and you just stick through those hardships of injury and like that, and he's had multiple, I think he's got a shoulder and a pec and maybe even a knee in there. So when you go through the gauntlet like that and you actually get your opportunity, a guy like him, he's doing the best of his ability to take advantage of it. I know he is. Obviously, he's maybe a little bit rusty, but you can see him start to gain a little bit of momentum. He's not getting the results necessarily he wants, but he is starting to get better throughout the year, and I think he's going to continue to get better. So a lot of props to him and all the things he's been through here. So
Talk about coaching the Frost brothers. Metcalf told me that sometimes he'll see them even start to replicate what maybe you're teaching Jacob individually, or what he taught Evan individually, and then they start to teach each other. What's it like coaching them?
Yeah, Metcalf probably talked a little bit about this, but he works majority of the time with Evan, and I work majority of the time with Jacob, but they're like, I don't even know what you call it, Siamese twins or whatever, where you're like connected, but you're not. It's the craziest thing, but I've never seen two people that are more alike and identical than those two in my life. But it's kind of funny. They have the same tendencies and like the same wrestling overlap. Like, you could be talking to one of them and you wouldn't, unless you actually know who you're talking to, you wouldn't have a clue. So it's pretty funny. Metcalf and I get laughs about it all the time, but those two guys, you couldn't ask for two better dudes to have on your wrestling team, just in terms of working hard and caring and having their teammates' backs, and again, it's kind of Jacob, from Jacob's standpoint, guys that just stay in there. And Evan, the weight cuts a lot for him, so he talk about a guy that stays in there just hard nosed and figure out how to get themselves in situations where they can win and be successful. So I love those kids.
What type of teammates are they?
They're believe it or not, they're very goofy behind the scenes. I don't know what they're like on camera or when you guys are interviewing them, but they're very quirky, very goofy, very playful, just fun-loving dudes, and everybody's always kind of busting their butts a little bit behind the scenes, but they give it right back for little guys. So
what's the quirkiest thing that they do or that you've seen them do?
Oh man, I don't know. Just stuff like talking in like their Louisiana voices and just pestering some of those bigger guys, or like mimicking them, and I don't know, just random stuff like that when you're in the locker room just having good laughs.
Mm-hmm.
So
How would you describe the way this team has faced the adversity this season? The injuries, all the switch-ups. How have you seen them respond to all of this?
The guy, it's just when you start to go through some of the back-to-back stuff, it's it could be a little draining, but a lot of these guys, they're doing their part. They're worried about themselves. They're doing what it takes to get themselves where they need to be. So I don't think it really takes away from what they're about. Like a guy like Jacob, I mean, he's going to capitalize on this opportunity, and and he should. A young guy like Peanut take advantage of the opportunity to get thrown there as a true freshman, and have that learning experience. That's only going to help propel him, for these years coming. So it's little things like that at the end of the day, it might be a blessing in disguise. You just don't know until later on, but I think you'll see a lot of that come full circle here in the next year or two. So